The broadcast is live. Here we go, guys.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Hi, everybody. This is Randy Thompson, and I'm coming to you live from Jumping Instructors Live. And you can check out you can see our other hosts are here. So I'm going to introduce Laura Kelland-May, and she's a Canadian senior hunter and jumper and equitation and hack judge and steward. Now I'm going to hand it over to you, Laura.
Well, thank you so much, Randy. It's good to see you again, and good to see you too, Patty. Randy is the founder of the Jumping Instructors web Facebook page, and Randy has been coaching professionals, certifying. Oh, you just got bumped off there for a minute, Randy. I got you back on there.
Yes.
She's a professional speaker.
We traded places.
We did.
Randy's a professional speaker at horse-related trade shows and is a horse industry legal consultant, which is very important these days, and a horse expert witness. Thank you, Randy. It's great that we get together and do this. And we also have Patty. Hi, Patty.
Hi, guys.
How are things on the mountain today?
The mountain's beautiful today. Very sunny, a little chilly, but beautiful.
Yeah, we had snow last night, and it was -4 here, and we had some more little dusting of snow.
-4 your.
So that's 4 degrees below 4 degrees below freezing. How's that?
Okay, so 28 here. There, it was 32 here, so it was chilly here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Patty has been a USEF large, our hunter, jumper, equitation licensed judge for how long?
35 years.
35 years, and judges at some of the most prestigious shows in the country, including Devon, Wellington, Harrisburg, Hits, Marshall and Sterling finals, and the West Coast Pony finals. Thank you, Patty. It's always great to get together with you guys.
Oh, it's fun. This has been a blast. We're having a good time.
And we've met some amazing horse people. It's such an honor to have them participate in what we're doing. Now, today we wanted to get started with the shocking news that we've all seen. You've probably seen it on the Jumping Instructors page. Everybody's talking about it, and that is that now there's a possibility for those of you who are still interacting with your clients. If you've got clients coming in, if you've got boarders coming in, you can now be held responsible in the court of law if they get the coronavirus. Who would have thought that would even happen? I don't even know. How can they even prove something like that, ladies?
Who knows?
Who knows? You can sue anybody for anything, but I think you just have to be very careful. And those of you that are still able to teach and do some private lessons and stuff, if someone does get sick in your barn, you need to stop. I mean, because you don't want to be sued to lose your whole business over this. It's already hard enough as it is.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, are there not directives sent down by your municipal, your local government, your state, your provincial government, your national level government regarding this?
Yes, well, they've got lockdowns in most states, which means that people are not supposed to be doing anything with groups over 10 or that, who knows really.
5 for us.
5, yeah. Well, I think it's 5 here too in some states. All the states are different.
Yep.
Florida was very late to lock down. And I think that when you have, if you think about it, if you have private lessons, you probably have groups of less than 5 in your barn.
Right.
So you can do that legally, but just to kind of be aware that to make really sure that your insurance covers. Now, I sent that out. I saw that, or Randy sent it to me, and then I sent it out to a bunch of my friends. And I had a lot of them call back and say they had already called their insurance companies. Well, don't just call them.
That's right.
Email them or text them so that what you get back is in writing.
Because they're saying a whole different thing.
Exactly.
We don't know if it's right or what, but the problem is if you've got one person that turns, for whatever reason, they get the virus, and then somebody else in your facility does too, then who knows? We've never had anything like this happen in our lives, so nobody really knows what's going on. But the bottom line is, for people like us, we're all professionals, is that we don't want to infringe on the safety of our clients. We love them, so to think that the place where they might contract the virus and share it with their families and other members is really scary. It's such a hard time. I don't know how most horse people are even making it during this time.
Yeah. So we have a comment here from Julia says, so glad you're doing this. Thank you so much, Julia.
Thank you. We're having fun.
Yeah.
We're having fun. So keep doing it with us.
Exactly.
So you said that the USEF is doing something tonight, Patty?
Yeah, let me pull it up here. It's the USHJA, and talk about something. I'll find it. Wait a minute.
All right.
Okay.
And while I'm doing that, if you go to the Jumping Instructors page, you'll see the recent article that was shared in the Chronicle of the Horse that talks about what's happening right now and how you could be held accountable if something happens. All right. What did you have there, Patty?
So this is what I found. I was emailed this as a member of the USHJA that tonight there's a virtual town meeting with Mary Babbitt. Tune into the virtual town hall with Mary Babbitt Wednesday, April 15th at 6 p.m. Register in advance. So you should have that email if you're a member. If you're not a member, my guess is you can send them an email and ask to be part of it. Once you register, you'll receive an email call with all that information. So the first 100 members to register will also be able to submit a question. So yeah, so it would be well worth supporting and listening to what our association that runs what we do with the hunters and jumpers, to be able to see where they're going and what direction they're going in. Because personally, I mean, I judge and I teach and I do, so I'm not doing any of that. And I happen to be blessed enough to live in the middle of nowhere and be able to survive. I'm worried about the in-gate people in the jump crew and the people that work, you know, maybe 30 horse shows a year, and that's their only income. And so I'm hoping that those guys will be able to get back to work soon. I'd like to go back to work too.
Not just them. We're getting a lot of feedback there. Not just them, but also I'm also thinking about all the people that support the horse shows, the vendors who are at the horse shows, the people who sell hay and shavings, and it's just kind of this trickle down. It's that extra thing, right?
Now, of course, they're still feeding their horses at home, so it's that extra feed and that extra stuff they do. But yes, everything. And then the horse shows are trying to figure out when we should cancel. There's a lot of work to put on a horse show and a lot of advance. I just got a notice that a horse show in California was canceling for next month. And because they just have to make a decision at some point. Yeah. So just everyone kind of be aware, and it'd be a good, if you can get onto the USHJ Live, that would be great. It would be great.
Try to keep you as up to date as we can. We don't want to dwell on it too much, but this is something that is really affecting what we're all doing at this time, because we love what we do. We're trying to make income. Those of you who have boarding barns and facilities, what do you do when the income's not coming in? So do us a favor. Share your comments, share your questions on the Facebook page, Jumping Instructors Live, where we're sharing this live from. Tell us what you're doing to make it during this time. Have you shut down your lesson programs? What's happening with your boarders? What are you doing with them? Also, remember to like, share, and comment on that feed, because we want to know more about what's happening with you, and so does everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to remember too, those of you who are watching that aren't professionals, because professionals know this, that the profit we make when you have a business is the lessons and the buying and the selling and going to the horse shows. And the rest of it pays for your existence and buying the hay and feed and insurance and rent or mortgage or whatever. So we as professionals, or used to be, have a barn owner, they're probably sliding by, but there's no profit anymore because there's very few lessons and certainly no horse shows. I have a friend in Florida who said she's had to cut all of her staff down to half because the horse shows were the profit.
Right.
So she's cut their money back and she's keeping them all. But, you know, at some point we have to all survive. So be smart, be honest, and do what you can do. And Randy and Laura has some great things about some teaching virtual lessons. Is that the right word? I'm not very good at this.
I guess so. It's positional reviews. On my Facebook page, people send me some pictures, and I just do a review of their position and give them some exercises that they can do to help when they're out riding next time. So
and
it kind
this
of
is something
keeps in
that
mind.
you can do too, because what we're talking about, and that's going to be our next topic actually, is what you can do during this time. Because unless you're training horses where you're not in contact with people, that's a way to make money. What can you do to reach your clients and make sure that they're coming along with you during this time? Because it's just crazy. There are barns where the boarders are not allowed to even come in and see their horses, according to the state laws. So it's a terrible time. So what Laura's talking about is she's using her YouTube channel to be able to do virtual lessons. She has people send in photos with them. You can use YouTube, or you can there's so many free platforms you can use. Like you'll notice
like this one that we're on right now.
Yep, and we're posting live to the Facebook page, Jumping Instructors, and you can do the same thing. You can post it to your profile if that's where most of your clients come, or if you have a business page, you can do that. Now, there's different platforms. That's what we call this, the ones that give you Facebook Lives. So first, you can use your smartphone, and that'll take it right to your page or profile where you can share things. You can do online, you can do demonstrations through your smartphone or any of these platforms. You can do demonstrations so that your clients are actively involved in the process. You can especially, we've talked about this before, about actually going there and doing Facebook Lives and letting them see their horses.
Yeah, exactly. And you can show them their horses in their stalls. And, in this fast world, sometimes we don't spend enough time with the horses, but I bet people are missing it, and they're missing their buddies, and they want to know they're okay. And it's a nice thing to do, walk through the barn. And even if technologically it's hard to do this, take photographs and send them photographs, and let them know that the horses, let them know their horses are okay.
And we know
I like what, oh, sorry, Randy, go ahead.
We all know this is a leap of faith to go this route, but it's time. We're in an age now where you might as well, to be able to keep your business going, learn new ways to promote during your downtime, because most people have a little bit more downtime right now, right, ladies?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I like what I think of Diane, and also one of our other guests said this is the time now they are going back to basics with their horses and their horse training, whereas the focus was this time of year is to get ready to go to horse shows.
Right.
They're now stepping back a little bit, and they are going back to their basics to get the horses really, really sound.
Exactly. The bigger show barns for the horses this month off or 6 weeks off or whatever it's going to end up being is probably not the worst thing that ever happened to the horses. However, like you said, Laura, going back to the flat work, and Diane said, and
Diane Carney is who they're talking about.
Diane Carney, she was on Monday, and we talked about that, and going back to the basics and working the horses on the flat. And trainers, if you're riding the horses and keeping them fit, have someone take a video and send it to the people. And you can even do a lesson with that. If you charge board and lessons, keep your lessons up. Do the training, do the lessons, do the stuff so that people feel like they're getting what they're paying for, and maybe helping them and helping their horses.
Now, some of the other platforms you can use, like this one, we like it because we're able to have different hosts. You may not need that, but there's plenty of free platforms. You'll see a lot of people are using the free platforms such as Zoom. That's where you can have up to 100 participants. A lot of people are using that. It's tough because whoever comes in has to be able to upload the link to go into the program to use it, and then you follow a link. So that's something you can use. There's StreamYard. That's what we're using right now today, StreamYard.
Yep.
And it records everything. We can share it on different channels. So they have a free version. There's also be.live that you can use. Again, they have their free programs. So you can actually practice how they work without even recording it. You can see what you look like on the camera, and that's such an advantage. So you get comfortable.
That's a lot.
We do that a lot. So we have meetings and everything on these.
I have to cover my neck up on the screen,
We all know. But it's the time. It's the perfect time for you to explore the possibilities of different ways that you can promote what you're doing in the horse business and to keep your clients connected with you. So take advantage of this time. It's so easy because now we really don't know how long we're going to be in lockdown, right? It could be a month, it could be 2 months, we don't really know, but it's the perfect time for you to focus on new ways that you can promote what you're doing so that you can go to the next level of success. When we come out of this, then we will come out of this, you'll be way ahead of everybody else in your industry because you'll be doing things that they will be afraid to do, because we were all a little bit shy when we started this, right, ladies?
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, these types of things is going to be a great boost for your business for sure, because it's one way to reach out to new people as well as the people you do have. One, to keep in contact with the people that you do have, and two, to reach out to new people as well. It's a great way to do that.
Well, and it kind of reintroduces you to a community too. If you're in a small area and you can do this and get it out on YouTube and get it out to people, that's going to be, hey, we should go take a lesson from.
That's right. Because
Laura,
an expert in.
We should get Laura to come and judge a horse show.
That's right.
Get Laura to come judge a horse show for us. Yes.
Or
yes,
whatever.
yes.
But so it's a new way to do things, and you can expect when you first start doing this that you will be intimidated. You'll feel your heart beating, because we all had to go through that. But again, you can do this first sessions, you can practice unrecorded and see exactly what's happening. I think the hardest thing for most of us was just looking at our faces, right?
Yeah. I don't know. My face isn't that horrible.
For me, I can't edit because these are actually live. They turn up on Facebook on the stream live. So I like to edit things. So if I or ah or anything, everything is out there. But if you're watching,
okay. It works well.
It works so well. It makes such a difference.
I think that's part of it. What people like is they see the real authentic you and all your mistakes and all your breaths and all your ums and ahs and everything, because it makes you human, right?
And
exactly. It's true.
You know, like and trust us in ways that would not happen any other way. And of course, it keeps us in connection with the people that we're already connected with.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I like it, and I'm surprised I like it. I have a cell phone and I'm on my husband's laptop because I can't do anything. So if I can do this, anybody can do this.
It was the same thing. It wasn't easy for me either, Patty. So I know you think it's easy for me, but it was very.
Yeah, but you figured it out and you wanted to figure it out. So
yes.
Yeah. And so it's a good thing. And we really want to hear from people out there what they're doing or what they're not doing or what they're thinking, or if they want to whine because they don't have any clients right now, or selling of horses, or doing whatever you want to ask. We are here to answer the best we can. And if we don't know the answer, I used to be in Amway, we'll find out the answer.
I will make it.
I like what you say. Like, what are you doing now? There's people watching here. What are you doing? Put it in the comments what you are doing now. To if you're a trainer, coach, have your own stable, what are you doing now with your clients or for your clients, or what aren't you doing? Or
did I see Debbie Sands on that list? Or did she just pop up on my screen for something else?
I think maybe she popped up on your screens for something else. But
well, that's too bad. She's a steward and a judge from Southern California, and she's great. I'll have to try to find her and get her to get on this for the next time. She's a really good lady and smart.
And speaking of things showing up on the screens while we're on that topic, Patty, you brought that up. That was a good point. The nice thing about Facebook Live is that Facebook loves it. So every time you do a live show, it shows up on the screen on your left-hand side and everybody else that's on your profile or the page. So what'll happen is you'll go live just like we're doing here. Most of the people who will watch it will be watching the replay.
That's true. Yeah, the replay is pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah, which is why I now wear a scarf around my neck, because I watched the replay.
well, I know when after a while we just get used to it. But speaking of Zoom, we're going to start because we're looking for things to entertain you and that we can all have fun with and stuff. So we are starting now. We're going to use another platform, and that's Zoom, and we're going to have virtual parties, I guess you could call it. So we're going to be Zooming with jumping instructors, and we're going to start that this week. We haven't really decided what night we're going to start it on.
And we talked about doing it tonight, but do we think that with the USHJA thing going, that that might not be their best time. And again, that is at live virtual town hall at 6 p.m. So if you want some information on that, it's a good one to go to, I think, to let us know what the industry's doing for the hunters and jumpers anyway. And see where they're going with that.
Do you think it'd be different for breeding people or quarter horse
well,
people?
If they're not, well, the quarter horse people have their own association.
Yeah.
So their rules, I think basically it's going to be the same thing.
But it's not the breed associations that are mandating these rules. It's
well, we don't know. We don't know.
Well, we don't know. I don't know what the breed associations are doing. I think goes back to no groups of more than X amount. So you put on a horse show and you have 500 horses, you obviously have more than X amount.
Right.
So that I believe that's where that's coming from. And I'm not an expert in that, but I would have to think that that's where that's coming from. And so unless I know that in Palm Beach, if anybody's on here that's watching, I know they did do some local shows right after the shutdown happened. I don't know if that continued or didn't continue. I actually didn't hear much about it. But I think we're going to be back soon. I think, I don't know. I can't even venture to guess. I just know that I'm not working at this point in May, unless the very end of May. I have a little unrecognized horse show up in Michigan. And if they open it back up, I'm sure we'll do that. But my 2 weeks in Sonoma was canceled. And because of this, because they have so much prep they have to do. They can't just open the doors and say, let's do it. Right. Kentucky is taking entries on the optimistic side that they are going to continue to go. And that's all I really kind of know about personally. So, and I know that some people are teaching and some people aren't, and some people are hungry and some people aren't. And, it is what it is. And I'm blessed to live where I live and to have the life I have.
Speaking of hunger, so that those who are watching know, if you're short on income and you don't have finances coming in, go apply for food stamps. They're open for everybody at this time. If you're short on cash, you don't have money to feed your family, use the government programs that are out there to make a difference for you. Just go apply. Most of the food stamp places, from what I've learned now, you can actually apply for food stamps in your area online, and then a representative will call you back and go from there. So there are programs out there. We're hearing the government's going to do things. We don't know what's really going on. But going back to the Zoom party, the Zooming with jumping instructors, we will post it on the jumping instructors page so that you know when it'll be and how to get involved in it. Again, what will happen is you will automatically show up. There'll be we can have 100 participants in each party. So either your photo or the gray image of you from Facebook will show there, where everybody can interact at the same time, which should be an interesting experience. We're building a community because together we can make a difference for each other. And all of us know that you're all going through a hard time right now.
Excellent. We do have a comment here from Patrick. Thank you very much, Patrick, for putting in the comment.
Hi, Patrick.
This is a good opportunity for student and trainer to get together to put together a conditioning plan if horses are not able to be worked. Come up with a training plan.
Exactly, and especially if the students can't get out to help, and you want those horses to be as fit as possible, because you know that when they come back, then the riders can come back, they're going to want to go.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
The trainers need to, if they can, keep those horses as fit as possible. Somebody was on, I don't know if it was Diane Carney, talking about 12 hours out. No, because she doesn't have a barn. 12 hours out, their horses go out for 12 hours a day, et cetera, et cetera.
So we have another comment or question from Meredith.
Hi, Meredith.
You guys recently talked about cultivating horsemanship versatility in our junior riders. My question is, how do we direct the industry toward the idea of well-rounded horsemanship without negatively affecting our income? I find unless the student is on the horse, customers aren't interested in paying for a trainer's time, knowledge, and expertise. Excellent.
It's a great question, Mayor.
that has to be part, I think that has to be part of your program. Like if you have a training program or a riding program, that part of your program does include some sort of lecture in horsemanship or horsemastership and knowledge about in and around the horse. And even before they get into the stable, there should be some sort of safety orientation or specific barn orientation rules type of thing. What do you think, Patty?
I think so. I think you're right. And I think in Meredith's situation, most of their clients are kind of already there. But I think, Meredith, you guys should sponsor yet another equitation class that includes some sort of a barn management thing. I know there's the one, I don't know what they call it now, so I'm not going to use the wrong word. There's the one they have now where you have to school yourself and walk the course and do all that. There's in Kentucky, they have one of the colleges sponsors a class where they have to come and I judged it one year and I chose how to wrap, how to take a bridle apart and put a bridle back together again. They had to do that. So if as trainers you can get together and sponsor a class and get someone to sponsor it with some nice awards at the end of the year for the person that scores the highest score, then you have given some people a little push to do it, because as we all know, everyone wants to jump to the top of the class, not just take their time to learn. So that's one way to give it a little push and do it at different levels. And Mary, you guys have those unrecognized shows, C shows, and the big shows there. And I think that'd be a great thing for Carriage Hill. Sorry, Jane. And to sponsor something like that and get it moving and going, and maybe get 2 or 3 of those other people, get Jimmy Toronto to help do that, and some of those guys down there to really push that.
I'd also like to point out that as instructors and professionals, that we need to realize that not everybody who comes to us really cares about the basics that are important to us. They have no plans on ever learning how to wrap a horse's leg. That's not their thing. And we have to accept the fact that some of the clients are coming in there because it's a social thing for them. You know, they don't want to learn the things that are, you know, like the basics, like cleaning their own tack and stuff, because they'd rather pay somebody to do it. So that's another group of people but that doesn't say that you still have not got to, you have to cover the basics. For example, you need to have rules posted. And this is something during this time, it's perfect. Do you have rules posted in your barn safety rules? If they're not posted, how do you expect people to be safe? They don't have the rules, they don't have to follow them. You should also have riding ring rules. So here we've got 2 totally different set of rules. You should have rules posted. Notice I said posted in the riding ring and any place that your riders go. What I would recommend is that any rules that you have for your barn, you've got to have rules, people. That's so important. Make sure that you post them. And then what I would recommend is every year have them sign a paper copy of the rules and put it in their pile to show that you have shown them the rules, and have them sign it to show that they have read the rules. And that way you're covered with those things, because the basics are important. For example, let's go back to the basics again. The first thing that we have most people do is what? Lead their horse to the ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is what are the steps you've taken to ensure their safety? Have you shown them, like you were saying, Patty and Laura, what did you do to teach them how to be safe around a horse first? Like, where's the safe place to be? The second thing is, you're going to have them lead a horse. Prove that you've shown. If you need to prove it, can you prove that you've shown that person how to safely lead a horse?
Yeah, there's all those things, and you're so good at that, Laura. I mean, Randy. Laura, you maybe also, but Randy, you're so good at that. And one of the things you told us the first time I actually really talked to you about any of this was on those releases, that if you have 2 parents, both parents should sign those.
Both parents have,
and you should read it to them, or they should read it to you, to make sure that they actually saw it and read it, because when they go to court, they're going to go, I just signed it and I didn't read what it said.
You have to verbally go over every paragraph. And I know we're going a little bit into the legalities of it, but it's a good time to do that. So when you have your release form, you have to make sure, so many for so long, all of us, we would just hand somebody, a parent or whatever, the release form, right? The problem is that it doesn't stand up, because you have to be able to show that they understand it. So what the recommended procedure is you give them the release form, you have them read every paragraph. You can have them initial every paragraph. You have to have them verbally acknowledge that they understand every paragraph before they sign it. Then, as Patty was saying, both parents, if there's two parents, both of them have to sign. The first lawsuit that was lost with the equine liability statutes was in South Carolina, and what happened was both parents had not signed the release form.
So, and that's a big deal, and we're all kind of slackers about that. I mean, I've been slackers at a barn I teach at. I'll bring someone in and say, "Oh, I'll just sign for them." Right. And, which puts me in a horrible position, but it also puts the barn in a really horrible position. And so just to kind of do that. And then Laura, we talked about this before. What about, this time is a great time to do cleanup and straightening up your barns and getting stuff.
I have another question here, though. First of all, Emma says hi.
Hi, Emma.
Yeah, Emma.
Here we have another question here. We are geographically isolated in northern BC. Borders can still ride, but times are spread out. And of course, we're doing lots of disinfecting. Clinics and lessons canceled, with talk of private lessons carefully resuming within the next few weeks. Rated shows are canceled until at least June 1st, but we're training and prepping as though we can show in June. So they've been busy. Excellent work, Catherine. Thank you so much for posting that. Yeah, I think that's pretty standard around everywhere, isn't it? They're going to be prepped and ready to go, foot in the stirrup, bum in the tack, starting in June once they lift this thing off.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad you might be able to get back to private lessons also, because private lessons, at least it's something. And I'm glad you're keeping your horses going. It's healthy for them, especially if you have older horses, and keep them moving and keep them going. And where is northern BC? What town is that?
Just Vancouver. Well, northern BC, it's kind of just below Alaska.
Oh, I was thinking of a town. So you have Calgary. I was thinking of a city, a town.
Okay, Catherine, what's the name of your town near in northern BC? Give us the name of a town. But while we're waiting for Catherine to respond to that.
Hi, Diane.
We've got a question from Diane. Thank you, Diane, for taking the time to post a comment. Really appreciate it. The horsemanship you are speaking of comes from the trainer educating client.
The client.
Safety, understanding how to be around a horse, tack up horses, etc. So
exactly.
That's exactly what we were talking about. Yeah, exactly. So I guess there are some people who come, just kind of show up for the lesson, get on the horse, then I don't know if they hand the horse back off, or maybe hand the horse to the next student that's riding it.
The trainer, different barns run their stuff differently. And so it just probably depends on where you're from and what people want to do. But I think horsemanship itself is exactly what Diane says. It's part of the training, the safety, understanding, et cetera, et cetera. Prince George, I know where that is.
Yeah.
I love Thunderbird Show Park and back in that area. That's beautiful there. Thank you, Catherine, for joining us.
Mm-hmm. And another thing we had talked about in other shows as well, as professionals in the business, how can you make sure that everybody's, for those who want to learn the horsemanship part, how can you keep track of it? And it's easy. Well, it's not so easy. You create a chart, or you create a form, and you write down whatever they've accomplished, for example, that day. Or you can even have the student write it down if you want to do that. There are people who do that and keep it in the file. But for example, the day that you teach them how to saddle up a horse, you have a checkpoint on that. You write down the day that they accomplish it, under your supervision, of course, because you've got to make sure it's supervised. Or whatever you're teaching them. Like, for example, one lesson could be picking up feet. When did you teach the rider the safety of that? When did you teach them how to lead a horse safely? When did you teach them how to learn the posting trot. So you create little check boxes, and that's how you can keep a paper trail, is what it's called. That helps not only you, but it also shows the students and their parents, if they have parents, the progress you've been making with them, which they seem to like.
That's important to keep track of it for your safety records as well, and also for education. But also if they, if they move to another stable or something, it's kind of great to have that as well, that
Right.
what you've
And
done.
parents like to do it. It's an expensive hobby, and so parents really like that if you can follow through and do that.
And it's
Exactly.
professional in the horse business.
We have a comment here from April. Thank you, April. The barn I ride at is kind of acting like nothing is happening. There are no new rules. Everyone can still come. I don't see people social distancing. I don't see anyone disinfect. It's a little scary.
Well, if you're uncomfortable, you shouldn't go. If people are dealing with this differently. People have different thought process about how severe it is or it isn't. And so if your barn is not doing what you think should be happening,
but
you have to make a choice.
Something mandated that you are not to
I don't know where it is. Yeah. So I don't know what state it is or whether it's,
Wow, they're right.
Like where I live, I could have 30 people out in a barn and no one would know it. So it's kind of it's a little, but there are some mandates right now and people need to be smart. And if you're not comfortable, then you should tell your trainer or the barn manager you're not comfortable and you're going to wait until all this is over. I don't think anybody could argue with that.
Don't complain to everybody. Don't create a problem with yourself. No. So if you have an issue with that, and you do have the right to do that, but we know there's professionals trying to survive. They don't know what to do, so they're hoping it doesn't happen. But all they need is, like we were discussing earlier with that recent article in the Chronicle of the Horse, 2 people in your barn come down with the coronavirus.
Really
whether they got it at the convenience store or not, it doesn't matter.
Or if you get hurt and you have to go to the hospital or something, how far along do you going to take it? But it sounds like April is quite concerned about it.
She is. But we understand that, but like I said, be careful about what you're saying to other people, because that can get you kicked right out of the barn.
And don't be a rabble rouser. If you're personally not happy with it, tell your trainer, tell your person, and do what you need to do. There's nothing worse in a barn than when it starts to get nitpicky and
that's right,
witchy.
Share that article that we posted on Jumping Instructors.
That's a good idea.
Share that article. Share the information that you have. They may still ignore it, but that's just about the only way you can really be able to do that because you don't want to lose what can we say, right? It can be a messy situation for everybody. Create hostilities in a place where, we go to be around horses because it's a passion for us. We love horses. We love horse people. It's important during this time that we stay positive. We try to be constructive, and we encourage the people who are around us to keep everybody safe.
Yeah. So we have another comment from Gombach Stables. Thank you, Andy, for getting on here. Appreciate it. Quebec has canceled all sports events until at least the 31st of August. Quebec is a province in Canada, for anybody who doesn't know. Many provinces can't salvage enough shows to qualify for the Royal. Do you think it still will be held? Well, there was a post from Christine Ripke this morning on Facebook regarding that. They're still planning full force that the Royal is going ahead. And I saw that this morning. Take a look at that, and I'll find the link and I'll post it in Jumping Instructors so that you can see it. They are planning to go ahead with it right now.
And we're having the same problems here with our year-end horse shows, and they're trying to figure out different ways to qualify and how that's going to happen. I don't think anything's been canceled yet. Yeah. They haven't. Those big horse shows like Devon had to cancel. It didn't have any choice.
Even the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kentucky Derby.
All sorts of stuff.
Olympics. So, yeah.
So I think though that the Royal being when it is think the royal being when it is, I think they'll come up with maybe a different way. May even just, they'll come up with a plan.
Yes.
Whatever plan they come up with, I'm sure it'll be fine.
April says she's in Utah. We are supposed to be social distancing. I'm not upset with anyone there. I haven't said anything to anyone. Well, now they're going to know.
Yeah, now they're going to know.
I'm not being a troublemaker. Well, thank you,
No,
April.
well, that's good you're not. And we weren't, if we thought, if you thought we meant you were, we didn't. We just wanted to make sure that you didn't. But you should find out, I'd talk to someone and just say, you're a little concerned. Or maybe not. The county I live in, we have had 0, thank God, knock on wood.
Right.
And, so, and everyone's being pretty careful, but we're not very big. I mean, we're just kind of this little mountain town in North Carolina. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. But as Laura said, April, everyone knows now. Somebody will know somebody who saw that. So now you probably better talk about it.
Yeah.
And this is true. Like we said, it's not any person specifically. This is the type of thing when it gets into the barn community, there are people that'll take sides. It's like politics, right?
Oh, dear God.
Right? It's just like politics. You can either get involved and get all hysterical or get all demanding and a control freak, or you can just do the best you can in the situation and not create waves.
Well, I think right now, if you're boarding a horse at a boarding stable and have your rider trainer there, it doesn't matter if it's the coronavirus or the way your horse is being put out or the feed or the hay or anything. If there's an issue that's upsetting you, take it to them immediately and discuss it and keep the doors open to discuss, not to put blame or point the finger at anybody. It's just saying, hey, I am uncomfortable with this situation, and it doesn't have to be about this. It could be the fact of anything.
At any time.
Keep that interaction going, the communication.
Keep that interaction going. Yeah, exactly.
Because the professionals in your life want to keep you, and those of you who are professionals, you want to encourage your clients to communicate their issues with you directly so that they're not behind the scenes creating trouble for you, because we've all had it happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's just part of the horse world, because people...
And most of the time it's something stupid, too, that it could have been taken care of quickly if it had been brought to the trainers or managers' attention. Exactly.
That's right. So it's up to you guys that are pros. If you're not getting that feedback, it's the time to start thinking of ways. Well, maybe you need a meeting in your, you can't do meetings in your barn right now, but here's where you can use your online tools like the Zoom or whatever application that you use. Get everybody together and start talking about the issues so you can open that communication, not only for now, but in the future. You'll be glad you did.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a great tool. And if you'd asked me this a few months ago, I'd gone in, okay. But it's great. It's fun. I mean, it's fun and it's good, and you can talk to people, and it has opened many, many doors.
Yes.
Okay, Gombach Stables. Thank you, Andy, for putting in this question. Show tack question. I always tell my students to get the nicest saddle they can afford, but none of them have CWDs. Does a gorgeous saddle sway your decision on the look, or like I tell them, it's all about the fit and cleanliness?
It's all about the fit and cleanliness.
All about the show?
No, but if it's a bizarre saddle.
That's a CWD. He's got to place first.
Yeah, no, never. I can't even imagine, but it does need to fit well.
Point, like, oh, gee, that's a CWD saddle. I got to give him extra points, or
no? Do you?
No, I don't even know what that means.
Right. I'm like, what's that?
So you're right. It's all about fit and cleanliness. It's all about how the saddle fits your horse and fits you. And I don't care if it's a Steuben from the 60s. I don't care. As long as it's clean and oiled and taken care of, and when you walk in the ring, it doesn't jump out at you and say, "Oh my God, why is this 5-year-old in an 18-inch saddle?" So
or why is this person riding in a gated horse saddle?
Right. Exactly. So it's about clean and fit and
putting you in the correct position.
Exactly. Being able to put you in the correct position. And You don't have to have
balanced
custom
position.
anything. And now you don't even have to have custom boots. I mean, when I grew up, we
Right.
couldn't afford custom boots. And so I had stock boots, but stock boots back then were like stovepipes.
Right.
Now they're wonderful.
I
So
know. It's a whole different world. Lucky us.
it is. Exactly. Exactly. But it's a great question. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, it's a good question. Emily M says hello from Pennsylvania. Hey,
Hi
Emily,
from
thank
Pennsylvania.
you.
All right, let's take a minute and talk about the guest we're going to have on this Friday. We've got Amy Center coming in. Patty, would you like to tell us a little bit about Amy?
Sure. Amy has a farm in Tallahassee, Florida. She's called Cavallo Farm, and she has a partner there, Janet, and she has her large R in the equitation and in the hunters. I'm not sure about the jumpers. We could maybe look that up real quick, but and she is real involved with the emerging athlete program with the USHJA, and she's a great speaker, a great trainer. I've known her for a really long time. She has a adorable husband and a cute daughter who rides and shows, and they have a big business for Tallahassee, and they're good horse people, and she's a good one to learn from because they still have a huge lesson program, plus they take people to the finals. So, and they have a IEA program and all the stuff. So she'll be a good one to ask questions to on lots of things besides the emerging athletes.
And some of the other things that she wanted to focus on are the importance of connecting with other professionals in the horse business. Because that's, you know, so many people get in their little island where they separate themselves from everybody else for whatever reason. I think that's the biggest thing I learned when I started getting involved in, for example, the Wellington show experience was that, you know, locally, a lot of local people create their space. It's almost like they're afraid people are going to steal their students. They're afraid that people are whatever, right? But as you get into the bigger circuits, what happens is I saw people that would get another trainer to come and train their student, which doesn't usually happen in the local area. So I think the bigger competitors, if I can use that term, have gotten used to creating a network, and it's such an important part. What do you think about networking, Patty?
I think networking is great, and I think that you have to have just a little confidence in yourself and ask for help from your neighbor or from your whoever it is if you need help. And if you're honest about it and you keep going, most people don't lose students unless they're going to leave anyway. So they have to be unhappy. People don't like to go to do, but and that's why we're here too, though. And there's a bunch of us, and the jumping instructors on all the time. You can always ask questions. And the three of us are ones, if we don't know the answer or we don't think we know the answer, we will certainly ask around and see if we can find the answer. We have a lot of contacts.
What about you, Laura?
I think networking is great. I think if you don't have it, just like what Patty says, if you don't know the answer, we find it. And as also the other part of that is being a mentor for new trainers, coaches that are coming up that need more experience or would like to have another set of eyes, that they need some sort of help getting some positional thing fixed or created or exercises. Excellent way to do that is by networking.
Here's something that I had to learn in my career because I, you know, like most of us, I didn't have a lot of help coming through it. But one day I realized, you know, I'd go to shows and I didn't understand why none of the other trainers would acknowledge me or say hi or anything. And then the big aha moment for me was realizing that I had isolated myself. And so what I did was I changed my approach. I started saying hello to the other people. I started creating conversations. And the shock for me was realizing the issue was not them. They thought that I was standoffish. And
it's not you, it's me.
Yes, it was me. It was all me. And as soon as I changed my attitude and I started being friendly and congratulating them and stuff, it changed because I developed relationships that I would never have had otherwise. The other thing, and the other thing Amy's going to be talking about is how we can be using this time as we go through the challenges that are happening now, how we can be using this time to improve our business and prepare for what's going to happen when we finally get back to doing what we love to do. So that's another topic. And of course, the USHJA United States Humper Jumper Association. She's going to talk about the Emerging Athletes Program, and something that I learned that was interesting was talking to Amy. I know all these initials.
Good thing we can't edit this stuff.
I know. Well, one of the things that I learned when talking to her is that it's open for you guys that are professional, you people that are professionals. You can actually go to these programs and either audit or participate in them, which I didn't know. I thought that was what a great way to expand your knowledge. So that's some of the things that Amy's going to talk about. I see you have another question there.
Well, I think it's a question / comment from Lyric. Taking the time to teach my personal children some bidding techniques and groundwork.
Good idea.
Time to let the horses go back to some basics and strengthening. We are watching a lot of videos, less opportunity to get hurt.
It's true. But I'm going to jump back to what Randy was saying. When I do clinics, I always offer the day before. I'll come in really early and I'll teach the professionals for free. And they can come by themselves, bring their own horse, whatever they want to do. If they want to do it without anybody watching, that's fine. And some people take advantage of it and some people don't. However, a lot of clinicians will do that. They want to help. We do it because it's fun and it's an income and it's et cetera, et cetera. But if I can help a professional be better at their job, it's a better job for me when I'm judging.
That's
right. So I like it.
Okay, we have Gombach Stables. Andy again. Thank you very much, Andy. I have one pony that doesn't need a martingale. They also ride up his neck.
No martingale.
Is that appropriate
Perfect.
in the over fences classes? Also, what's your feeling on carrying crops? I prefer the kids not to carry one.
They don't need to carry a crop and they don't need to wear a martingale. In the bigger equitation, I like them to have the crop because if they need it then, not 5 minutes later.
Not
however,
bring after the class is over.
Yeah. However, there's nothing that says you must carry a crop. Right. Although there's some old-time trainers that would argue that, but there's really nothing that says you have to. And as far as the no martingale, that's fine. No problem there.
I agree.
Do you think, Laura?
Well, I think maybe the only reason I would put a martingale, it's a pony. Yeah, pony is to have a strap so if the child needs to have something to hang on to. That would be the one reason why I would put a martingale on it, just for the
and just a little looser martingale so that it's not in its way.
Yeah,
and not put a jumping strap on it at a horse show. So yeah, that's exactly right. Good, Laura.
We have another question here from Kelly. We're getting down on time there. Kelly, thank you, Kelly, for coming on and asking a question. Hello, ladies. Pandemic-related question. I was reading some of the comments, and I noticed one mentioned boarders were still riding and private lessons. Well, I think that depends on your area.
Yep, I think it's where it is. You have to find out legally. Randy, you're probably should be answering this. However, I am. If you find out legally what you can do in your area.
Right.
And I think
there are barns that are scheduling times so that the people don't come in at the same time. For example, it's probably not advisable for you to do group lessons at this time. And we're talking where you have more than probably 3 people in a group, right? Because once you get into the forest, you've got people that are bringing in guests or family members. And that increases the whole dynamic of what you're doing. It's not just 3 people you're working with. It's who's coming with those people. And what are you doing with them? Do you have a separate area that you have the guests and those that are spectators? This is something, and now we're going into another area. You should have that anyway, because you don't want these people wandering around your barn, even when this time is over, right? So what are you doing to separate people to protect yourself?
I had 2 comments with respect to that. One is somebody we had on as a guest said that they were doing, or somebody that we were talking to before said they were doing private lessons where the person got out of the car, into the ring, got on the horse was there ready for them, they had their lesson, then the child got off the horse, into the car and left, and then the whole disinfectant procedure was done. Isn't that right?
Yes,
right?
and they're doing that. A friend of mine in Florida is doing that. Parents have to sit in the car. No one gets out of the car except the rider.
Exactly.
And only on boarders horses. They're not doing lesson horses at all. They're giving the lesson horses a break, and they've turned them out and said, have a good time. So, I think you have to look into your own area, and even in just your own county, like, because our county is free of the disease, you might be able to do different things than you could do in Manhattan. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
And you can go to your favorite Facebook groups that are in your area. And usually if you put a post on those, your local Facebook horse related group, somebody will have the information that you need if you don't have it already. Because I don't think most of the insurance companies are up to date on what's happening right now, right?
That's
that was the other thing to remember as a trainer, to remember about your insurance and to double check. And to make sure you get something in writing, whether it's a text or an email or something. It should be in some sort of writing that says, oh, you're covered, you're okay.
And along those same lines, I was asked to go with a friend to a local stable here in Ottawa. She said she had an arena time between 2 and 3 p.m. and if I wanted to come and watch, I could do that because she was going to be the only person there and I could go and watch her there. Now, I don't know if that was legit. I didn't go, but I don't know if that was legitimate or not, or if they are just allowing boarders to ride at a certain scheduled time, and that's the way they're handling it here. But I would contact Equestrian Canada because Kelly's from Ottawa. So I would contact Equestrian Canada, see if you can get a definitive answer on that. There's a lot of, people wondering what's going on.
Well, and because we're athletic, it's an athletic endeavor. Some things, like obviously a football team practicing, is different than Susie coming and taking a riding lesson. So you have to kind of say exactly what it is and how many people will be around and those things, I would think.
Yeah.
I would think. I want to talk more about the Zoom party.
Oh, right. So we need to set up
Kelly.
And we will announce it on the Jumping Instructors page.
It'll be fun.
What are we going to call it?
We're zooming with zooming with jumping instructors.
Zooming with jumping instructors.
And we will.
And it's going to be
You can bring your. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, we did talk about having a wine and cheese party, but then we decided that maybe we shouldn't do that. So now we're calling it a BYOB. Right. And if you bring a glass of water, bring a glass of wine, bring whatever it is you want, but it's yours and your responsibility only.
Right.
And so since most of us are stuck at home, it won't make any difference, but it'll be fun and we'll have a good time.
That's what our goal is, to have a place you can come to have fun, to network with other horse people. We can answer questions. We don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but we're doing something to bring everybody together during this time. What were you going to say, Laura?
Gumbach Stables, Andy says, I'm in for a party.
We love parties. We love parties. And the one thing, ladies and gentlemen, and whoever, we are not going to talk politics.
Right.
No politics. If you talk politics, Laura's going to kick you out so fast.
Well, we might want to talk about Trudeau.
No, because then we'd have to talk about the other T too.
You can't talk about any politics.
No politics. That's right. So it's all going to be horse related, and we don't know which direction it'll go right now, but we're doing this for you so that you can get comfortable doing, like we're doing, online programs to connect with your people. You could be throwing your own parties with your clients, as ways to get them to have fun and to continue to develop the relationship that's so important for you to keep with them during this time and forever.
Yeah, it'll be fun and a great place. And like you said, Randy, a great place to maybe learn to meet some people and so maybe you don't know we're in your area and et cetera, et cetera. So we're looking forward to that. And we're really looking forward to Friday with Meredith. Yes, ma'am. No politics.
No politics.
Promise you.
Thank God. Emily says, thank God, no politics.
Yeah,
Meredith
really.
says, let me know when I'll be there. Only if no politics. No
politics. So Friday, Amy Center, 1 o'clock. And
1 o'clock.
Randy will let you know when we're going to do the Zoom party. And This is fun. The hour just zipped right by.
And thank you everybody for
Hey, hi,
joining.
Ron.
Remember to share. You can share this post directly on your page, on your profile. You can share it anywhere that you want. While you're doing that, remember to always like our posts, like or love them. We like love. So if you could give us hearts, we like to have the hearts. There's no question about it. And of course, comment. Start interacting with us so that you can start interacting with other people. Together, we make a difference for each other. And we all want to thank you for being a part of our progress as we find new ways to communicate with more horse people.
Exactly. And Meredith, you get Jane to come to the Zoom party. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. That's fun. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you
on Friday, 1 p.m.
Bye.
Bye. I think we're still going, ladies.
Yeah, I can see the second timer.
Yeah, I can. It's okay.